Ladies and gentlemen of the Action Army, I am back and I am better. I have not posted on this Answers for Athletes channel in 3 months, and that all changes today. I am making a promise to all of you watching. That changes today. From now on, I am posting every single day on the Answers for Athletes channel at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have your questions, be sure to leave your questions down below in the comment section of this video, and I will answer your questions in a video just like this. Today we are talking about 5 things that you need to know to maximize your vertical jump. Everybody watching, most of you are basketball players. We got some volleyball players, but a lot of you follow me for vertical jump training advice. And today, these 5 things are going to help you take your vertical jump from where you are now to a monster vertical jump if you take action and put these into play in your life. Some of these things you may already know, some of these things you may not yet know, but even if I am talking about a subject and you already know this, remember that repetition is the mother of skill. And maybe by hearing it again today, you then take it and you implement it in your life to, in fact, maximize your vertical jump. Here we go. Very quickly, comment JUMP, J-U-M-P, down below in the comment section for a free bodyweight vertical jump training program. And you can now get your first month free when signing up for any of my advanced training programs. I will take you to the next level. Let's get started. So 5 things that you need to know to maximize your vertical jump. The first thing is that you need to understand that vertical jump is nothing more than a test of power. How powerful are you? The higher your power output, the higher your vertical jump. So when you see, for example, in the NFL Combine, where they do a standing vertical jump test and they are jumping as high as they possibly can, that is raw power output, raw vertical jump. And luckily enough for us, we actually have an equation for power. And the equation is power equals force times velocity. And why that is great is because now we understand that if we improve our force and we improve our velocity, then we have to improve our power output and our vertical jump. So force, we could just think of as maximum strength, and velocity, we could think of as maximum speed. So the higher the force, the more force that you can produce, and the faster that you can produce that force, the rate at which you can produce that force equals a higher power output and a higher vertical jump. So that's the first thing that you need to understand, is that if you improve your force and you improve your velocity, you have to, by law, by laws of nature, by the laws of physics, increase your vertical jump. And one other thing that I'll mention is that the best way to improve your force production is by strength training, and the best way to improve your velocity is by velocity-based strength training, or even better, plyometrics. You got your sprints, you got your bounds, you got your dunks, your high object touches, your hurdle jumps, your depth jumps, your single leg hops, fill in the blank. So that is number 1. Power equals vertical jump. And vertical jump is nothing more than a test of power, and we can improve our power by improving our force and our velocity. That is number 1. Number 2 is that there's also an equation for force. So power equals force times velocity, but force equals mass times acceleration. And this is imperative when trying to increase your vertical jump, because we have an equation for power. We also have an equation for force. Mass, we could just think of, I'll make it easy. Think about you're doing a back squat, okay, a heavy back squat. The mass is the amount of weight on the bar. The acceleration is the rate at which that bar is moving. So this is why that is so important, because in order to improve your force production, which is directly correlated to your power, in order to improve your force production and get stronger so that we can jump higher, you have to be focused on how fast you are moving that bar. So what this really means is that the intent is very important when lifting weights. Let's say you're doing a back squat or a trap bar deadlift or a rear foot elevated split squat. Fill in the blank of whatever exercise you are doing. The intent has to be to move that weight from the bottom to the top as fast as possible, or from the top all the way down and up as fast as possible for efficiency of the stretch shortening cycle. Force equals mass times acceleration. So I don't care the mass. I do not care if you are lifting at 30% of your 1 rep max or 100% of your 1 rep max. The intent has to be to move the weight as fast as possible. The acceleration has to be there. That's why in a lot of strength programs, you'll see they do a heavy day and a dynamic day. They'll use 30 to 80% of the 1 rep max, moving it as fast as they can, and then they'll go really heavy, still trying to move it as fast as they can, because acceleration is half of the battle when trying to improve your force production. And remember, improve your force production, improve your power output. So that is number 2. Understand that the intent has to be there when strength training. You have to be trying to move the bar as fast as possible, unless you're trying to, rehab tendinopathy or you're focusing on slow strength. 95% of the time, you need to be moving the bar or moving the weight as fast as possible with the intent to improve velocity, even if the weight is heavy. Okay, you understand. The third thing that you need to understand when increasing your vertical jump, or not increasing, maximizing your vertical jump, is that everyone is different. And this may seem obvious. However, I still get questions all the time. Hey, Nathaniel, what is better? Plyometrics or strength training? We understand that we need to do both of those to increase our vertical jump. If you're just doing one or the other, I promise you, you will not maximize your vertical jump. You need to be maximizing your force production and your velocity. So we need to be doing strength training and plyometrics. However, the amount of each of these that you do is specific to you. You are not the same as me. I am not the same as LeBron James or Anthony Edwards or fill in the blank. Everybody is different. The amount of plyometrics that you need versus the amount of strength training that you need is different for everyone. Now, we could get into the dynamic strength index. We could talk about force velocity profiling, but I think both of those topics are for another day. But you watching this video, you need to understand that there is a certain amount of force that you can produce. You have a certain amount of maximum strength, and you have a certain amount of explosive strength. And one of these is more deficient than the other. And to increase your vertical jump the most, you need to patch up those deficiencies. So if you're very strong, but you don't have a lot of explosive strength, then you need to patch up that explosive strength. And you need to start doing more velocity-based training. You need to do more plyometrics and more reactive strength training. But on the other hand, let's say you're a basketball player who all you've done your whole life is play basketball, and you never really did any strength training. Chances are that if you add in some strength training, your vertical jump is going to skyrocket. So you have a certain amount of maximum strength and explosive strength, and whichever of those is deficient, which you can go to a trained professional or use the My Jump app to do some force velocity profiling and figure out which of those you are deficient in. And if you bring that up, you will increase your vertical jump more. So just understand that everybody is different. Some people are strong, but they still can't jump high. Some people, they've been playing basketball, they're reactive, they're elastic, but they really don't have the maximum strength needed, the ability to produce a lot of force. So they need that. And shameless plug. I have 2 programs. One is called Beyond the Rim, Strong and Bouncy, which means that if you are one of these basketball players, or you're very elastic and you're reactive and you're good on this side, but you need to improve your strength and your maximum force production, Beyond the Rim, Strong and Bouncy will take your strength, your force production to the next level. I also have a program called Beyond the Rim Project Plyo. And if you're that LA Fitness meathead who can squat 2 times his body weight and can lift a bunch of weight but still can't jump over a jelly bean, then you'd get a lot of results from Beyond the Rim Project Plyo. And if you don't got any money, just understand that everyone is different, and whichever of these categories you are deficient in, if you are deficient in force production or you are deficient in, you need velocity-based training, that is where you're going to get the most results on your vertical jump, is whichever of those you are more deficient in. Bring that up and you will see your vertical jump increase. The fourth thing that you need to understand when increasing your vertical jump is that strength is the backbone for all dynamic movement. And what I mean by that is that when you do these vertical jump programs, let's say you find a vertical jump coach or trainer online, most of the time they start with a prep phase or a build the base phase or a foundation phase. They don't just they don't take a beginner and just throw them into bounding and hopping and depth jumps and hurdle jumps. You need to build a strength foundation first. So, not to plug my program again, but if you did Beyond the Rim Strong and Bouncy, and then after that did Beyond the Rim Project Plyo, it doesn't matter who you are. You would see crazy results because we're patching up all areas. Anyways, that is the fourth thing that you need to understand. Strength is the backbone. Strength is the foundation for all dynamic movement. The higher your strength foundation, so the higher your force, you're actually in a good place. If you're strong but you can't jump over a jelly bean, you're actually in a decent place because you've already built that foundation of strength. Now what you need to do is go and you need to get more reactive and you need to get more elastic and you need to focus more on velocity-based training. But that's number 4. Number 5, start small or suffer the consequences. Stay small and suffer the consequences. And all that this really means is that you need to progressive overload properly. And that sounds so mundane. All of you have heard that. You've heard it before. Progressive overload properly. Yet so many of us, 95% of people, I made that up, but I'm willing to bet I'm very close. 95% of people get this wrong. They don't progressive overload properly. A lot of people say, well, I want to dunk as soon as possible. So what are the best exercises to dunk as soon as possible? Oh, I need to go do dunks, and I need to go do bounding, and I need to squat heavy, and I need to do all these intense exercises. But if you haven't done the regressions of all of those exercises, you're just going to get overuse injuries, or you're going to get some reactive tendinopathy. And in that case, it's going to take you even longer than if you just did the proper progressions in the first place. Start small or suffer the consequences. Stay small and suffer the consequences. So start small. We understand that we need to start very low with low intensity exercises and then progressive overload our way up to the high intensity advanced exercises. We need to do that week by week by week, taking our time. This is a marathon, not a sprint. The second part of this, number 5, is stay small and suffer the consequences. And by that, all that I mean is if you stay with these lower regressions and you don't ever get into the hard stuff or the advanced training and you hit a plateau and you never do anything to get out of that plateau, then you're going to suffer the consequences, which is you will not increase your vertical jump. So eventually you need to get into the hopping and the bounding and the hurdle jumps and the dunks and the high object touches. And a lot of these exercises, they don't really want to do them. A lot of people don't want to do the hopping and the bounding because it's hard. But these are the exercises that are probably going to force adaptation. And at the end of the day, you need to force your body to adapt. To increase your vertical jump, you must force your body to adapt. If you do not force adaptation, your vertical jump does not increase. So start small or suffer the consequences. Stay small, and you will also suffer the consequences. Guys, these are 5 things. The 6th thing that I have is subscribe or your vert will decrease. That's very real. That's actually a thing. But guys, anyways, as I said, I am back and I am better every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am posting a video on this Answers for Athletes channel. So subscribe, hit the bell, comment your questions down below, comment jump for a free vertical jump training program, and get your first month free when signing up for any of my advanced training programs. I love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.